Namaste and welcome. Today we are really in presence of a great spiritual leader, Srimati Madhavi Latya Kompella, who is visiting the US right now. She is very well known to all of us in India and in the US for her amazing work that she has done both in India and in the US. Currently, she is with the Save the Temples organization, trying to bring awareness to keep the temples safe and prospering in India. Madhavi ji is an amazing leader who is a Bharatanatyam dancer, who is also the head of the Virinchi hospitals and the foundation, the charitable foundation work that they do. She is also the mother of three wonderful children who she homeschooled, and two of them have already gotten admission to IIT Madras. Madhavi ji, it is such an honor and a pleasure to have you here. Namaste. Thank you. Welcome. I was going to say, Madhviji, you are just so incredible. I had the honor to listen to you yesterday. First, I wanted to ask you, why is it so important to save the temples? Can't we just do puja at home? This is a question that comes up all the time. So, what is the value of these ancient temples and why is it important to save them?
See, I would say one thing about this is that in every religion, there are two forms of the energy concentration. One that we do at our own place, where we do it with manodharma. That means the way we know how to reach God, or the way we feel very comfortable to really, adore, love, and to take up this path of spirituality. There is another mode and method where it has been taught through a shastra, a discipline, a kind of rituals where that particular place, the God, we reach to him, we ask for him for a larger good. So if you can understand, the prayers at home are more for I factor, the way I know it factor, the way it is comfortable to me factor, versus a place which has been established, God has been established in the Agama Shastra. That means the huge rituals like Homam and Yagna, and where a lot of Panchalohas are put inside the earth, where the energies are brought into an idol, before which it is just a mere idol, but after which a prana pratishtapana is done, and where the cause is not I, but the cause would be we all, mine, ours. So what happens is that at that place, just the way it strikes the time in the clock, the puja rituals are done for the larger benefit. It's exactly like a Wi-Fi router at home. You go away from the Wi-Fi router, you feel the signals have become weaker and weaker and weaker. But the moment you come closer to the Wi-Fi router, you find it very comfortable that your mobile catches the signals. In the same way, the power concentration at a home, because it's for a selfish need, and we would not follow the entire process and rituals and traditions to ensure that, the idols or the puja gets the prana pratishtapana, versus the router, that's Garbhalaya, where the energy starts concentrating. So what happens is that when we make it a point to go to this temple, the temple has a serenity around it. The temple has phenomenal peace in it. The temple has a concentration of positive vibration in it. So at that place where a universal good cause is the sankalpa, there our prayers, our requirement is very quickly taken up by the God. It's a simple, like you do a one-to-one study in your room, in your bedroom, versus you go to a university.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Madhvi ji, one of the questions I would like to ask you is you are involved heavily in charitable work in India. I mean, I know that you have done so much, providing free healthcare and so much more. And yet, you're also very involved in supporting temples. So, one of the questions people often ask here is, oh, shouldn't we be donating just to doing charitable work? But you are doing both of that. So, how do we explain to people the need to, of course, to do charitable work? And you are a beacon in that, you're a leader in that space. So, how do you make your decision where to give to a temple and how to do the charitable donation and how to balance those two?
What happens is that when we do a charitable activity, we are able to do a charitable activity because we are, as a personality, built within ourselves. We are wiser, our wisdom levels are great, so we do charity. Means even to do a charity, it's a personality in itself. So we have built this personality. Now, who has built this personality? Your dharma, knowingly, unknowingly, your upbringing, knowingly, unknowingly, your entire religion that teaches you Manava Seva, Madhava Seva. This dharma has turned your personality to a charitable personality. Now, you may not be able to do this charity every day throughout your life. And the basis of this charity is because of a personality built based on a foundation called dharma. So when dharma exists, the charitable personality in you exists. And how does dharma exist? Dharma exists because of its identity. Identity called temple. See, if I have to be a doctor, if I want to give medicine, if I want to serve humanity through medicine, I have to become a doctor. And to become a doctor, I need a medical college. Now, I would say I don't need a medical college. I don't want to be a doctor. Then I am not probably a professional person to serve humanity through a department called medicine.
Right.
And the same way, for me to do a charity, I need to have a personality. And this personality I get because of dharma. And temples are the institutions which uplift dharma.
Beautiful.
And when I do charity, somewhere nor the other, I have a selfish sankalpa that I have done this good. I do it on my birthday, I do it on my marriage day, I do it my children's birthday. So there are my astrological chart says you need to do a little bit of dana dharma, then you are uplifted. It's very good, but still it is oriented around a specific reason called I. But when you do same charity towards a temple while also doing this, because you get a personal satisfaction when you give somebody needy directly.
Yeah.
But when you do simultaneously a charity to save a temple, you do it with the sankalpa viyoga tattva. That means you're detaching yourself with a sankalpa, and that sankalpa is what is the benefit to me? So, without that question and a requirement that, oh, how do I benefit? You donate to a temple. In itself is a very heavy punya. Without knowing yourself, you're clearing your karmic acts. And this temple, when you donate, it just doesn't work towards only feeding the poor, but it does many things.
Yeah.
It can start orphanages. It can go further on helping people for education. It can do women empowerment. So when it channelized to a temple, it is from there like towards a trunk. If you're moving, then trunk spreads out its branches for many things. There are fruits, there are flowers, there are birds sitting on it, there are animals feeding on that. So what's important is temple is the trunk. And when you give charity, it's you're giving water to the roots.
Yeah.
And it spreads and spreading out towards dharma. And such donations actually will give you a kind of moksha. Not only that, your forefathers are also relieved, and the punya lokas, they move towards the punya loka.
So I think what you're saying is that while charitable donations are very important, and I know that you do a lot of it by doing all your free healthcare work and so much more, it is when you invest in a temple, you are doing generational charity to keep our culture, our religion alive and well. Now, I want to know, I know that you have come from the Save the Temples, you're supporting that organization. Now, in India, you are quite the face of saving these ancient temples. What are the things that people from here can do to help your cause? Because we are not in India, and I hear that the temples are not in the best of shapes and really need a lot of support. So, how do you suggest we go about helping you?
I would say one thing that when there are two ways in it, or you can adopt both the ways, whichever place your origin belongs to in Bharat. For instance, I would say if somebody belongs to Varanasi, somebody belongs to Dwarka, somebody belongs to Warangal, somebody belongs to Hampi. So in the entire Bharat, as an American Hindu, I re-emphasize, as an American Hindu, to whichever part of the Bharat your origins come from, you first try to know in that particular place how many temples are in distress. With that, the first thing that you would be doing is you will be actually enlightening yourself that in reality, how many temples are still struggling to survive. Then you be broad enough, courageous enough, and with a big heart in your holidays, when you go there, reach out to these temples. Choose one temple out of that with the deity that you love, adopt it, try to understand, and accordingly try to see what you can do from here to that particular temple. With this, the entire American Hindus, with the basic strength from the place of origin that they come from the Bharat. Now imagine at least the minimum 5 million American Hindus when they try to go and search for their origin, place of origin in Bharat and the temples. Imagine kind of the truth first that comes out. See, you're opening up to the truth first of all. So it's not one Madhavilata. I would say 5 million American Hindu Madhavilatas have to come forward. Now, the second point is if you at the same time also donate to the institutions like Save Temples who are from America, or you donate the temples that are in America, that's another form also that you through them are trying to reach a temple of Bharat. It's exactly like you doing a personal charity versus you donating a temple. You could do both.
Yes.
It's not that you need to do a heavy donation, but you need to do a sustained donation. In a month, $100 can still vanish away like this for whatever, like the kind of expenditures you would have done. You would have regretted in a month that, oh, I should have not have done this. It was not tasty. This was not interesting. It didn't come out of my expectations to the level of my expectations. Like that, you actually would have wasted a couple of hundreds of dollars in a month. So I would say, out of that, pick $100 in a month, wasted, expenditures. Now minimize your expenditures that you think you're put on a waste, desires or areas or fields, whatever it is. Pick $100 out of that. Out of that $50, put it to the Save Temples or to the temple that's nearby. And another $50, you personally dig out the temple of your place of origin from Bharat.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. I love this point you're saying to go find out your place of origin and the temples, because for your children, if you could go take them there, they will know where their basics are from. So when you visit India,
not only that, you would actually know the atrocities that have happened on Bharat by history.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure many historians have not written about every temple.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now when you get to know this, post on your Instagrams, post on your Facebooks,
Yes.
post on your Twitters,
Right.
so that the world would know
Right.
that even till date, how many temples are in distress in Bharat,
Yeah.
in spite of workers like us, dharmic workers like us, working day in, day out.
Yeah.
We cannot bring the entire truth in front of you, but you, as a soldier of Sanatan Dharma, as an American Hindu,
Right.
maybe you actually can help all of us in doing two things. One, dig out the truth, own up a temple, and help us also locally to restore temples.
Beautiful. You know who you remind me of when I see you is Ahalya Bai Holkar. I have to say
Oh
that,
my
Madhavi ji.
God.
I mean, what she did really has helped keep Sanatana Dharma alive, and I saw that where she said one hand, Shiva, and the other hand, Talwar, and she went and made so much difference and with charity, and charity was very important for what she did. The other question I did have for you is that, how do you get the ability to do so many things, Madhviji? You are very rooted in Sanatana Dharma and you are a woman. And I know that you're very busy. You homeschooled three children. You're a Bharatanatyam dancer. By the way, I am also an IIT, and so I know how difficult it is
Wow.
to get into
From which
IIT
which which
Bombay.
IIT you are from?
IIT Bombay. IIT Bombay.
Fantastic. Oh
Thank
my
you
God.
so much. No, and I'm a Bharatanatyam dancer, so I really vibe with what you're saying. I know. So I wanted to ask you, and beyond that, you had the courage to jump into politics. I mean, I know that requires a kind of courage that many of us don't have, and you're doing all this almost simultaneously. So how do you make the time as a mother, as a wife, and I know you're doing all those jobs beautifully while doing all these other things as well? What advice do you have for women who are Sanatanis, how to manage all of this?
See, you have anyways given one great example, Ahilya Bai Holkar. I would add to it the great Vel Nachiyar, Chennamma,
Mhm.
Abbakka, Rani Rudramadevi, Jhansi ki Lakshmi Bai, Padmavati. The Sanatana Hindu Dharma not only has given us the great goddess like Ma Kali, Durga, Tara, Saraswati, Lakshmi, Parvati. They have also given us these great queens from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Atak to Katak. So
Beautiful.
what's important here is the birth itself as a woman in Sanatan Hindu Dharma. What else do I want to feel that I am impeccable? What else should I feel that nothing is impossible for me? Not only my dharma has shown up me such wonderful goddess to give strength, my queens across Bharat have told me and taught me that it's only Sanatani, it's only Sanatan Dharma woman who can just restore dharma back. Is it not good enough for me to feel courageous?
Absolutely. But I also wanted to ask you on a practical level, how do you manage the time? I mean, you're doing so much. So, any advice for, today people always say we have to do too many things. How do we manage our time? How to be a wife? How to be a career woman? What practical advice would you give them?
Yeah, I would say at this point of time only one thing, that our timing has to be smart.
Mm.
For instance, you are an unmarried lady, then you should need to have focus first on your mental health, on your physical health.
Mm.
Because this is the time you prepare your body as a field which needs to perform many things after the marriage that a man cannot perform. So, your mental health, your physical health, while understanding and respecting both, a woman should know that she needs to balance with her desires, with her expectations in life. Because women is an embodiment of not I, but mine. When you're unmarried, you're I. But the moment you get married, you need to learn mine, my children. my family. This concept will only get into a woman if she can understand that Sanatan Dharma has placed her very high because she only has the ability of patience, perseverance. So we need to understand patience, perseverance with practice. And this we need to teach this body physically and mentally. And to teach this, it's women again, I would say, has to take up the path of dharma spiritually. So, right from the childhood, a girl needs to be taught the very traditional form of rituals of praying Mangala Gauri, because people often look at Mangala Gauri as only the embodiment of getting a good husband. No, not at all. It's only a part of the journey. The actual journey is she who is the embodiment of Shakti should learn how to handle her own Shakti.
Beautiful.
She, the embodiment of Shakti, should know how to calm down to channelize the Shakti. She, the embodiment of Shakti, should learn the patience when to use Shakti. She, the embodiment of Shakti, of unfined day, should stand up for her entire family if required and go beyond stand up for dharma. To have this kind of a wisdom, she needs to know who she is. There has to be an inward journey to know herself. And this is only possible when she calms down. And this calming is taught by Mangala Gauri to her.
Beautiful, beautiful. So teach the rituals, learn, prepare yourself, and then when you become in the family, automatically the strength will come to you. And are you saying that you will learn how to balance everything with the grace of Gauri?
I would say that the grace of Gauri will give her the strength that I do not have to continuously be in my career to be really called I'm successful. I know how to switch on and switch off.
Ah, okay.
2 years back, I got into politics. Nobody knows Madhavi Lata. Now, how come Madhavi Lata is so famous according to them?
Yeah.
They think I'm successful. If 18 months to 2 years is good enough, then imagine for every woman to take a break from a career, to upbring children, to again go back to career whenever she wants, take a break for the best interest of the family, go back to career, is just a game like this.
Mangalam Shubham. Oh my goodness. I know that you are so busy and I know that you need to move on to your next event very quickly.
I know we need to take a snowing roads and then
Well, Parashakti, you are, and I noticed one very important last point I'll mention. What moved me so much is the way you talked to children yesterday at our temple. I mean, you were so gentle, so kind, and I have seen you on the political stage being Parashakti, having.
या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः या देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै नमस्तस्यै Namastasya Namo Namaga. The woman is first Ma and then Shakti.
I
Then
saw.
Ragni.
I saw all of that come through, and being a dancer and a singer, your articulation is so beautiful. We could not have asked for a better concluding note. So, I would love to ask your blessings for all our children.
I have a message for all American Hindu born youngsters. We are very happy that you are an American Hindu. We feel pride in telling that we have a great, strong generation on the land of America. I wish and I bless that the youngsters who are Sanatan Hindu American born, take up the responsibility. Take up the responsibility being a Hindu. Know your dharma, because this is the only dharma which can spread peace, prosperity, and universal brotherhood across the globe. America is known as a superpower. Now it's very important that such land should stay blessed, and an American Hindu should play a vital role in keeping it blessed and peaceful. I wish Ma Bhagavati to bless the entire young generation of American Hindu born.
We pray for you to really succeed in whatever you wish to do or whatever mother wants you to do, and our blessings and our best wishes for you. And I cannot thank you enough for taking time out of your very busy schedule today to talk to me. Mangalam Shivam.